There are no new cases that I'm interested in talking about right now. And so what we're going to do is we're going to revisit some of our old episodes of Lunchtime True Crime Snapped. Honey, this is what you need to know about this video. Halfway through recording this video last summer in the upper room, my other studio, a mud dauber wasp tried to, unfortunately, unalive me. Now look, it is dramatic and it only happens in like a quick second. I have edited out most of the cuss words and me flailing like a maniac. But so you're gonna notice like a little cut in this tape, and that's when I nearly slipped the surly bonds of this earth. But alas, I survived, obviously. In the meantime, please enjoy Snapped, Linda Culbertson. Hey there, true crime friends. It's time. It's Lunchtime True Crime. Child, the story I have to tell you today. Miss Linda Culbertson, she was something special. But listen, let me give you a hot tip. First of all, if your boss is around, you're going to want to put in headphones. Like, you don't need your boss hearing this story. It's not the kind of story you're going to get fired for, but like, bosses don't need to hear this story. But first, before we get going, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. After you're done listening, make sure you make a comment, share this with your friends, do all the YouTubey things. I know I'm bossy. I'm sorry. But look, we have to talk about Miss Linda Culbertson. A nice lady. She was smart. She had ambition for her life. And she's like, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to do the doggone thing. And she was prepared to have a good, full, wonderful life. Little problem, she got pregnant when she was young, like 18, 19, something like that. She found out she was pregnant by her boyfriend, and she was like, dang, this is going to hold me up. But maybe not, because I'm smart, and I know how to get things done. So she's like, okay, let me change gears. I'm going to marry this dude, and we're going to live happily ever after. Oops, except for not so much. That ain't work out. So she got married again. That's okay. If at first you don't succeed, you have to try again, right? Okay, so fine. By the time she's 28, she married a second dude. That ain't work out either. By the time she's 28, she's got 2 divorces under her belt. And she was like, look, instead of focusing on these men, I'm going to focus all of my energy on raising these kids, making a nice life, and I'm going to get ahead. And that is exactly what she did. Now, if that was the end of the story, then we would not be here talking about Snapped. Now, would we? One day in the late 90s, Linda calls the police. Oh my goodness. Oh, there's a killer in the building. You got to come and help me. Oh my God. And the cops are like, oh my God, obviously this woman is in a lot of trouble. So they rush to the scene and they're like, okay, where are you in the building? Where is he? She's like, I don't know. It's all so terrible, blah, blah, blah. So the cops are like, okay, the killers could still be in this business. We're going to take the stairs. And then they were like, oh, it's a lot of floors. 3 flights. I don't know. But they put that aside and they ran up the 3 flights of stairs, and they was like, okay, let's take a breath. Let's look around. I hope the killers are fat and slow, because now we worn out. We can't shoot nobody if it comes down to it. But they're in the stairwell and they're hearing this crazy noise, and they're like, what is the noise? So they peek their heads out of the stairwell, and what do they see? The elevator doors keep closing and hitting something and closing and hitting something and like bouncing back open. And they were like, what is this? Turns out the killers had put a briefcase down in the middle of the elevator so the elevator door couldn't close all the way. And they were like, okay, we're going to sneak up on this elevator and see what's happening. Meanwhile, they hear a woman screaming like crazy down inside an office someplace. And they were like, okay, 911, tell the heifer to shut up. Number 1. That's number 1. Number 2, ask her, does she have a gun? So they're like, yeah, she has a gun. So they're like, okay, there's a dead dude here. We got to take care of the dead dude. We're going to need her to shut the heck up. And then we're going to try and calm down the situation. So they go and they look in the elevator, and this dude is very, very dead. I'm talking dead carp laying in the floor, dead as a doorknob. So they were like, okay, his whole face has left the building. So we're not going to need EMS. We just go on, send the meat wagon over here. They could just cart him on off to the funeral home, whatever you do, because he's beyond our assistance. So they were like, okay. But they were like, but first, we have to find this crazy lady. She was like, oh my goodness, I can't. And they were like, okay, calm down. Put the gun down. Where do the bad guys go? And she's like, I don't know. And they finally calmed her hysterical behind down, and they carted her on out the building. And they were like, okay. Now we got all the time in the world to find these bad guys. So they're tiptoeing, looking around. They're like, wait, Miss Linda, who else is in the building? She's like, it's me, my boss, and the security guard. And they were like, where's the security guard? She's like, I don't know. So they look around way up on the 6th floor. I can guarantee you they took the elevator up to 6 because they're, there's a flying something in here. Holy shit. So the cops asked Miss Linda who all is in the building. And she's like, it's me, my boss, and the security guard. And they were like, where's the security guard? And she was like, I don't know. He's in here somewhere. And they were like, okay. So they're canvassing the building. They found the security guard up on the 6th floor. You know they took the elevator up them last 3 flights because they was like, listen, we have worn ourselves out. We came up 3. We're going to take a little breather, and then we're going to go up and try and find somebody. So they find the security guard up on the 6th floor. He's all tied up, and he's like, I don't know what happened. Somebody tied me up. I think they came in to rob the place. And they were like, okay, calm down. And they said, the security guard is like, there have been robberies here before. And so maybe it was just the bad guys coming back again. And they were like, oh, okay. We're going to take you to the hospital and check you out and make sure you're all okay. And then we're going to question Miss Linda some more because something about her don't seem right. But, okay, you were in good hands. So they get Miss Linda to calm down. And they're like, before we give you this nice sedative, if you stop screaming, we're going to give you this nice sedative. But first, we need you to talk to us. And she was like, I think, okay, I can calm down. This is not a drug-related story, but in my mind, she was addicted to sedatives. So she was like, okay, if you give me that nice, delicious sedative, then, I will calm down. I promise. Can I have it? Can I have it? Can you give it to me right now? So they were like, okay, first tell us what happened. And she was like, this building has been robbed several times. My boss was on vacation, and when he was on vacation, it got robbed. And I think the robbers, they came back to rob the rest of the stuff. And the cops were like, wow, okay, here's your pill. They take her on off to the hospital. And she's relaxed. She's zen down. She's like, ooh, these sedatives are so nice. So they go searching, and they're like, wait. Can y'all ask Linda what was stolen? And she was like, oh, sure. A TV, a copy, a fax machine. Because, this was back in like the 90s. So they probably had fax machines. A Pitney Bowes machine. For those of you who were young, a Pitney Bowes machine was a postage machine before computers. So, she was like, all this stuff. And they were like, okay. Well, they're looking around the office. And what do they find? The TV, the fax machine, the Pitney Bowes, all the things she said was stolen. They found tucked away in the office. Now, when they saw Miss Linda, when they found her, she was screaming hysterical. She had a gun in her hand, but they looked at the gun and they were like, oh, this gun has not been fired in a very long time because I don't know how you tell, but like the seal wasn't broken. I don't know how guns work. I mean, I know how they work, but I don't know how you could tell if one was fired or not. But they looked at hers and they were like, yeah, no, this has not been fired. So they keep looking around. Well, in searching the office, what did they find in Miss Linda's office? Like they searched the whole office, and in Miss Linda's little corner of the world, they found a pull-out bed because Linda was so dedicated. She sometimes spent the night at the office, and they were like, wow, she's a dedicated employee. Or was she homeless? Unclear. Turned out, they asked the coworkers, why Linda got a bed in her office? And they said, oh, Linda was a workaholic. She worked. She was the hardest working secretary in the world because she started out as a secretary and worked her way up to be the office manager. She knew where everything was. She knew how everything went. She was on top of everything. And they were like, great. She sounds like a fantastic employee. And they said she worked so hard that sometimes she would spend the night there. And they were like, wow. And they said, yeah, she had a pull-out bed and she had a change of clothes and like fresh lipstick, whatever, so she could change her clothes. And they were like, okay. So they're looking through Miss Linda's stuff, which turns out was a bad idea. So they're like, okay, we see the bed, we see the change of clothes. They found a very large sex toy. Okay. I guess she was getting all her needs taken care of at work. Fine. And they find another gun. But this gun smells like fresh gunpowder. And they were like, this little tale that Linda's been telling, she might have left out a couple details. So they're like, Linda, listen, hey, how's that sedative working for you? It's good? It's good? You feeling calm? Okay, good. Listen, we found a gun. And she was just like, yes, I had one. I was trying to protect myself and my boss. And they were like, right. Only the gun that you were holding when we walked through the door, that's not the gun we found. We found a rather large instrument for pleasure. And she was like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. Yes, that's just because me and my boss were having an affair and he forced himself on me. Himself, or he forced the toy on you? I don't Okay, whatever. Fine. And she was like, we were having an affair and I didn't really want to have an affair, but he was saying that to get ahead in my career that I really need to do this thing. And so, I did it. And that's how I got to pull out bed in my office because he said, and so I'm the office manager and, things were going really well, but like, I really didn't want to do this, but you know how bosses are. And they were like, right. So they asked all the other people in the office, because you know all the other people in the office was gossiping about Linda. Everybody got Linda in their office. She doing too much. She working too hard. She trying to make y'all look bad. Meanwhile, y'all looking at her like, she doing the most. And for what? So they were like, we don't know how much money this heifer made. However much it was not enough, because you'll catch me spending the night in my office. No, you will not. So they were like, nobody was spending the night but Linda. We don't even understand why, but fine. So they said, yeah, the relationship between her and the boss was not good, but not in like a we're lovers and broke up kind of way, more like she was a pain in the neck kind of way. Plus, this dude loved his wife. He was crazy about his life, his wife, his family. No way in the world he's cheating with this chick. So they go to the wife and they're like, hey, do you suspect anything with Miss Linda? And the wife was like, absolutely not. Which in my mind made me think, oh yeah, that means he was sleeping with Linda. But, they did all the research and nope, no affair. Nobody could find proof of nothing. So now everybody's looking at Linda like, Linda girl, some of the things you have said have not exactly added up. So we're going to need you to be a little bit more clear. First of all, why the toy? Why all this other stuff? And she's like, I don't know. Everything I said was true. And they were like, you know who know everybody's business? The security guard. We're going to talk to the security guard. So they go to the security guard. They're like, hey, dude, come here. Quick question for you. What's the real story here? Because this whole burglary thing, everything that was supposed to be stolen, we found in the office. Miss Linda's over here telling lies. What's the story? Honey, that security guard folded like a cheap suit. He was like, look, let me tell you everything that happened. She offered me $600 to kill her boss, and I couldn't do it because, I'm a kind and decent person. And so I got my friend Quincy to come on in here and say, Quincy, I'm going to give you $200 to kill the boss. And maybe that's when $200 was a lot of money, because I cannot imagine unaliving somebody for a mere $200. And they were like, okay, but we need somebody to back up your story. Where's your friend Quincy? And they was like, oh, Quincy left town. And they said, okay, tell us the story from the beginning. And the security guard was like, okay, Miss Linda offered me $600 and I could not do it because I'm a kind and gentle person. And so I got my friend Quincy. He's a good friend of mine. And good friends, they will go in with you halvesies on a murder. And so the cops were like, right, thinking, dude, you so wrong. But they were like, okay. And then what happened to Quincy? He's like, so Quincy came in and he tied me up. He took me up on the 6th floor. We took the elevator because child's stairs. He took me up to the 6th floor and he tied me up. And I was like, oh my, I'm tied up. I can't let loose. And then Quincy went back downstairs. He could walk downstairs because his knees is good at everything. So he walks back down to 3 and I'm waiting and he's waiting. Quincy's waiting. And so when the boss walked out of the office, he shot him twice. He shot him in the knee and he shot him in the shoulder. And he was like, I can't. I know you offer me $200, but I can't be unaliving people. That's bad for my karma. It's bad for my chi. Jesus is not going to understand. Like, I'm not. And so the boss is screaming like, oh my goodness, the murderers are back. The robbers are back. These are the people who took the Pitney Bowes machine. Linda, come and save me. So Linda runs out into the hallway and she sees what's going on. And she says, the boss is like, Linda, help. And the security guard's friend Quincy was like, Linda, girl, I can't do it. I thought I could do it. I really, really did, but I can't do it. And so Linda says, finish him. And the dude was like, it's going to be a no for me, dog. And hands Linda the gun. And Linda takes the gun and was like, a woman's work is never done. Boom. And she shoots the boss right in the face, blows his whole face off. And then the friend was like, yeah, Linda's pretty badass. I'm going to get out of here. So he left, took his $200 and left town. P.S. If he was the dude doing the shooting, shouldn't he have gotten the $600 and the other dude only kept $2? But I guess it's no honor among thieves. So Linda then takes the gun that was used to kill the boss and puts it in a closet someplace and then goes and gets the other gun. Why do they have this many guns in the office? I don't know. And then she was just like, oh, help. A terrible thing has happened. You have to come. So they were like, oh, okay. Thanks so much, Mr. Security Guard, but we're going to need some proof. where's the money? Can you give us any sort of cooperation? He was like, yeah, if you go to my car and roll back the floor mat, you're going to find 4 $100 bills because I gave my friend Quincy the other 2. I don't know where Quincy went, but back in the 90s, $200 and a Greyhound ticket could take you a really long way. So he's in the win. And they were just like, okay, dude, I mean, I don't know what we're going to do because this is a mess of a situation. So they're like, Linda girl, we're going to need you to tell us what happened. And she's like, see, what had happened was, me and him was having an affair and it was going poorly. And that's all I can remember. And they were like, okay, so we're going to do some more investigating. We're going to send you right over here to the nice jail. They have a nice outfit for you to wear. You get some very high fashion bracelets. And you're going to have a rest. You're going to have a nice rest. So they start looking through Miss Linda's papers and her desk and everything else. What do they find? Miss Linda is organized. All of her information, her receipt for the bullets, she had that because, what does she need to put that on the expense report? And she had a receipt for a shooting range. They go to the shooting range. They're like, oh, yeah, Miss Linda, she been here. She put a picture of her boss up there and she was shooting it in the head and stuff. Oh, she's a good shot. Are there any more questions? Because, there is no shooting range. Oh, shit. There's a bug in here trying to kill me. I swear to God, I thought I killed it. Where'd it go? Okay. I'm going to edit that right the fuck out. Anyway, that bug better not come back. I need a weapon. I need a gun. Damn. Okay. Anyway, so they were like, there is no shooting range confidentiality. Linda was here. Here's her driver's license. We got all the information, whatever. So they turned Linda in. And then they were like, what else might Linda have done? They started talking to the people in the office. Child, the people in the office gave Linda up. They were like, there was no affair. It was all in her mind. She was delusional. She went and poured brake fluid on his car because, brake fluid ruins a paint job. I did not know that, but now I do. And they were like, Linda was crazy. In her mind, there was a relationship, but in reality, there was no relationship at all. Linda kept saying she was going to leave this company and go start her own secretarial service. And the boss kept saying to her, you'll never leave me. Oh, shit. Where in the world? I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Bug, die! How are you still alive? Are you superhuman? Are there 12 of you? What in the entire fuck? Oh, now you're dead. Now you're very, very dead. I should autopsy you just to make sure. Okay. There was just a grisly murder during the filming of this episode of Snapped. But let me tell you something. The show must go on. So anyway, where was I? Let's see. Fatal Attraction. Oh, yeah. So there's no confidentiality between your gun range person and you. So the gun range person was like, oh, yeah. She did all the things. We have all the receipts. We have all of everything. And Linda was like, I'm going to go to trial because y'all can't prove that much of anything. And they were like, okay. So they take her to trial and Linda did a thing I have rarely seen done. And that is she didn't ask for a jury trial. She asked for a bench trial. That's when she goes and she sits down and she's like, Judge, I want you to hear all the evidence and then you will decide if it was self-defense. And so the judge was like, oh, cool. Listen. That cut out a lot of foolishness. I think they should have a lot more bench trials. I saw a bench trial on Court TV not that long ago, and it was fascinating. And the woman, though the evidence was stacked up against her through some technical, legal, whatever, got acquitted. It was amazing. I think that's what Miss Linda thought was going to happen. That's not what happened. The judge listened to all the evidence and he didn't even say I'm going to need to deliberate. He was like, let me just hang on. How are we going to do this? If they had the gun, carry the 4. Okay. So she's guilty. Y'all don't even need to take a break and go get a sandwich or nothing. She's guilty and she going to go to prison for the rest of her life. Is there anything else I can help you with today? And Linda was like, but But turns out this was a fatal attraction. All of this relationship was happening in her head. And now Miss Linda, still over there in Kansas, only now she's in the Missouri Department of Corrections for the rest of her life. Oh, girl got L-whopped. What? Do you think they let her take the sex toy with her when she went to prison? I'm just asking. Also, if you have an employee in your office who's doing too much, watch out for them. Be careful. Also, is this box still alive? Okay, I have to go complete a murder. I'm gonna have to talk to y'all later. Bye.